With Taniwharau, we went everywhere that she went in New Zealand. Here taunga for when the Queen came over. You know, all these little hui that she needed to attend throughout the motu, we went. And so those were the experiences that we had, grew up on, with being with Taniwharau. Wasn't unusual for us to get on a bus, go away for the weekend, come home to your family,
I can go back and remember 1977 heading to Waitangi, Silver Jubilee of Queen Elizabeth, and she was attending Waitangi, and my fond memory there was walking up to Queen Elizabeth and presenting her with a bouquet of flowers with te wanaka.
Well, one fond memory I have just of myself is when I went into the river with the poi. It was this boat that came behind and the waves, you know, the water, and then we were there. I hid under there for a little while, and then I got up and I bowed in front of Chariki Nui, and they said, oh, it was all an act. I said, all an act, I doubt it.
Everybody had these buses, pretty flash buses in those days, and we rolled up Taniwharau on the back of Hopai's truck. In Avondale, that was a highlight for me, was going on the truck. I didn't think that we were going to win, but you know, we went on there and performed.
Learning to sing choral, I think I found we really enjoyed singing your own parts, tenors, bass, altos, sopranos, everyone knowing how to sing. Napi will always, he was always organised. When you arrived at practice, time was always precious to Napi, so he made sure that we got a lot of work done during his time.
One day me and Tomai got called down, and the old lady had a Japanese tape. We were sitting there listening, and she goes, see that tune? I reckon we can turn that into a good. And then out of that came Maunga Tapu. Over the years, Mum was sort of a director from afar, and it was like she had a kapahaka group on call for her.
And I suppose one of the biggest things for the 50th anniversary for Taniwharau is Tomai's leadership. Her creativity was just remarkable. Like, we had no choreography. If you watch kapahaka before our day, it was just stand, sing, actions. She brought choreography into play.
My father played the piano accordion. It was never heard of in any culture team to have a piano accordion. But my dad, through the guidance of Tomairangi Paki, she brought in a lot of different things, even the long poi at the time. She reawakened a lot of the tikanga, if you like.
She used different instruments. And when we were in Europe, that was the first person that all of those groups went to was father, because he had a piano accordion.
Our travel over to Europe, that was a big trip, I think 7 weeks away, that we all travelled to the different folklore festivals there with our queen at that time, Te Ariki Nui, Te Atahirangi Kahu, Whatimoana, and we put a program together just like that.
Going over to Europe was exactly the same kind of whakaarone. It was just that it was a privilege because it was hand chosen. I mean, we had to work hard to get on that trip for a start. And then the kaupapa was really interesting as well. We were in the 83 competition of Poly Festival. Got news later on that we had actually won. Te Ariki said, didn't want it to be spoken about, you just get my group a trip to a international festival, so that's how it came about. And then when we went over to Europe, we experienced all sorts of countries' indigenous dance. We were on the road performing nearly every day somewhere. If it wasn't at a big festival, a big tent that had all the groups performing at once, it was in little squares and little communities where the community would be waiting for us to come and perform.
I am proud of us that we set a lot of standards, Taniwharau. It wouldn't be unknown for someone or for us at home, mum and dad, to get a call to say, oh hey, you gotta get ready. The lady's going down to Wahidere or somewhere. So you would, at the drop of a hat, get ready. You'd make sure that the family down the road would be looking after if you had mokopuna in your house or tamariki, that they would be all cared for. This is how we roll.
I suppose the challenges from our perspective, like every time we went with Te Arikia, even here in New Zealand, was always the worry about our kids. We had such a big family. They were great kids, but when we left, we have to leave them in one house with one carer or whoever the carer has to be. So that was probably one of the biggest challenges for us. But they understood. The good thing was they understood, and auntie or uncle would be there to look after them during the times that we're gone, even in New Zealand.
I'm grateful to those kaupapa because it opened my eyes to being outside of Rahui Pōkeka, being outside of Waikato and doing kaupapa across the motu and then across the moana nui a kiwa. So I was very fortunate to represent Taniwharau in a few kaupapa outside of competition, which was trip to Niue, te tautoko i te kaupapa, te mana motuake o te iwi take o Niue, kaupapa ko Tāua, which was a joint venture between Taniwharau and the New Zealand Symphony Orchestra. Answering the call with Auntie Tomai to those sort of things brought about challenges, but it was also challenges that gave you the honour, that gave me an honour to represent our club.
We had to make our own pari. We had to learn how to make our own poi. Tukutuku, learned how to do tukutuku panels. We did that for waipapa and still using those crafts. I learned how to make my own korowai. So all those things that I've learned from being in kapahaka.
I've been very privileged to be a part of those beginnings by a certain lady by the name of Te Marae Paki, or we knew as Mara Bag. I think I can align the kōrero that she always had a handbag on her everywhere she went.
Kia au nei, tino o le mahara tuna na ia rātou i tō tātou haere. Tūtaki katoa mātou tātou i ngā mahi tia i tātou i reira, engari kāre hoki mai, tō mātou hoki mai te kāinga, kāre tino pēwhēna, kei whea mea. Whira noho ngā mātou pata, engari kāre tino roa, korongo koe, ko hinga tu, ko haere atu tērā. Nge rā tu ahuatanga, aro anō i te rongo atu ko haere, mo te atu i tērā. Kore rawe mutu te whakaro i tō tātou haerenga, engari mahara tona nā rau, kia te heo ngā māua mahi, a mea.
Yeah, so those were the interesting days for me, back then. But it gave me an insight on coming to Waikato and being a part of Waikato, and of course, anything to do with haka, I loved it.
It's just that Taniwharau cultural group culture and the relationships that the group has brought. I think those are the highlights in it. And I think that was the purpose of Taniwharau, was to bring relationships into a bigger circle, which was the kingitanga.